Okay, welcome everybody. I'd like to call the, excuse me, the Tuesday, December 19th regular Police Commission meeting to order at 7:05. And Joey, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? I think, Chief, you had something?
Yes, a discussion and looking for support from the commission for adopting Axon as a body cam and in-car camera system provider or vendor.
Is that an action item?
We need support to move it to the board, so if you want to have a discussion on it for action.
Let's add it as action item number 2. Is that ADCON?
Axon, A-X-O-N.
Can I have a motion?
Move to have the body cam added to the agenda.
Second.
Second, Joey. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I guess I'd like a motion to approve the minutes as outlined here of the October 17 regular Police Commission meeting, the November 1 special meeting, the November 16 interview meeting, and the November 16 millage meeting.
Motion to approve the 4 minutes.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Let's move to the action items. The first one is the approval of the noise ordinance that's in front of us. Chief or Deputy Chief, would you like to give us a broad
So what we're attempting to do,
summary?
the summary is we're working off of an old ordinance 80-4, which is permitting noisy conduct, illegal business. And if I may, I'm just going to read this. This is our noise ordinance, so this is all that we have to work off of if we do get a complaint. In the old ordinance, it says, "It shall be unlawful for any person to permit any noisy conduct in any house owned, occupied, or controlled by him to the annoyance or disturbance of the surrounding neighborhood or neighbors, or attend, frequent, operate, or be an occupant of at any place where prostitution, gambling, the illegal sale of intoxicating liquor, or where any other illegal business or occupation is conducted." So that is in our local ordinance. That is what we have currently on the books. The one that we've submitted this evening is very detailed. It breaks down the consumer fireworks, the holidays, what noise disturbance is, what a sound is. It's very descriptive. It helps us in dealing when we do get a call for a noise complaint. At least it gives us the framework or the ability to have something to work off versus this older ordinance that we have currently.
And this is only section 4, so disorderly conduct still stays in place.
That is
It
correct.
just changes the noise. And what's if you are found in violation of the new ordinance, what's the penalty?
The penalty, that's to be determined. It's a misdemeanor. Are you talking about fines and costs?
Yeah. So like whatever I violate this in whatever reason, I get a citation, what
It
do I
would be a
expect?
misdemeanor. First offense would be 50, and then it's incremental from that point.
Okay, so it's the normal township schedule for misdemeanor.
That is correct.
Okay, anyone have any questions of Todd? Jeff? Or you want some more time?
Give me a few minutes here.
Okay.
So just so everyone's aware of it, and so our noise ordinance is outdated at best, right?
Correct.
So where did the framework for this new one come from?
This framework came from the township attorney, and it's based off of the model of a couple other municipalities or cities.
Yeah, so after reading through it, the only question I have and is really, some of these things like fireworks only between June 29th and July 4th. Is there a way to get a permit for special events?
There is a permit. You can get a permit, and depending on where you're operating the display, most of your yacht clubs, they will get approval or a permit through the United States Coast Guard, which would make this not enforceable. If somebody had a complaint, they had pulled that permit, they would be well within their rights. And then outside of that, maybe it's not a water-related event. That's something that we'll have to discuss. Is that something that goes before the township board to approve a permit for a display?
Yeah, we vote on those each year for the different permits.
So the path would be through the township?
That path would be, we would not authorize, that would be through the
It's
township
through the
board.
township, because we have to vote on it.
You have any questions, Joy?
No, I just recall, Todd, it must have been, I apologize, maybe I sat with you, but I went through this whole thing this was about a month ago, I think, or so.
We've had it for about a month.
Yeah, that's when I went through it with,
And just so the commission, if we need more time to look at this, digest it, and make more of your, additions, deletions, what you'd like to do with it, we can do that as well. Yeah, this doesn't need to be decided tonight. If you would be more comfortable with
Yeah, I mean,
that.
having just seen it, I would rather not act on it tonight. I'd rather have a little more time with it.
We apologize for not putting the packet. Like I said, I didn't add it there, so I apologize for that.
So Eric, you want to make a motion to table it to the next meeting?
Yeah.
yeah, that'd be best then.
Second for that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let's put this.
Appreciate the time that went into this. And I assume if anyone, Jeff, Eric, or Joe have any specifics that you want to bring up, you'll forward them by email,
Yep.
and we'll be prepared to act on it then January.
Forward them to Todd then, or?
So
I don't-
what I'll do is tomorrow, I'll send out an email with this attached, and just respond to that thread, and that way we can keep it within that email. Any changes, anything that you
Oh, okay.
want to address. It'll be a lot easier doing it that way.
Yeah. Okay. And then we'll see it again at the January meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, any other comments on the noise ordinance?
Mm-mm.
So, we added action item 2 on the body cams. Who's going to give us a little
Whatever you name.
summary presentation?
So to summarize it, I think during Joe's era, that's when we first installed the car cameras with our current vendor. And now we've gone through, I think, 3 different versions of the evolution of the technology in the cars. And, so currently, the current generation of the in-car cameras are getting either outdated because they're still second generation, or the current generations are not, it's failing. So we applied for, several months ago, a COPS grant, which is the, COPS stands for Community Oriented Policing Services, is a federal grant. And we got $34,000 for specifically addressed for technologies. So we put an RFP out for for all the different vendors. Then we got 5 that replied, and we went through the different vendors, and you kind of have, they range from $260,000 for a 5-year total contract to 145-ish was at the bottom, was the lowest number. So we went through all 5 proposals, and Axon is one of the largest companies and the most known companies. And what's the benefit of Axon? Why I'm going for talking about them? That's the one we want to go with, and they're the 4th highest. So they're second from the bottom on the price. So they're right almost tied for bottom on the price over 5 years. But the benefit to Axon is also Taser. You guys have probably heard of Tasers, things we have. So we already have an agreement with them, and they own evidence.com. That's who Axon uses for transmission of evidence through their network. The benefit of Axon also is how we just voted for Flock 2 board meetings ago. I looked up as 2 board meetings ago. Axon and Flock actually already have an agreement in place for sharing of evidence and information, which would tie into our car system and our body cams and the Flock network, which is the license plate readers. And then on top of that, Wayne County Prosecutor's Office has an agreement with Axon also for all evidence being transmitted through every single police department in Wayne County is done through evidence.com, which is owned by Axon. And they are, I would say, the premier, I don't want to put down any other vendors, but they're the premier body camera and in-car camera probably network in the country. So their proposal was surprisingly lower than 3 other vendors, 3 of the 5 vendors. So they gave us 2 options. When you read the proposal, which I have with me right here, very thorough. They answered every single question we had on the RFP, request for proposal. They went through every one of our questions and spent half that book answering every one of them where they will stand up to our needs. So we had a Zoom meeting with them today, and that's who we're asking to go forward with on body cameras for the officers, and then replacing our aging and need to be updated in-car camera system. Down the line, those in-car cameras, because they're connected to the Flock, we have to check on the fees for it, but each car can become its own license plate reader that goes in the network. But I think that's an added-on price. We'll tackle that one down the line. So that might be an expensive thing. So the $34,000 for the federal grant will cover a portion of that, and then the remaining will be out of forfeiture, and that'll be for a 5-year term.
That 5-year was 250 or 260?
No, it's 160. It's 160. 260 was the highest. 145 was the lowest, and their bid was It was 164. I think that's what they came out
And the
as.
164 covers both aspects or just the one?
The whole thing, the whole body camera, and they also give you a backup equipment. Their warranty, it's just kind of common across the industry, that if let's say an officer breaks a body camera and it gets run over by a car, they just replace it. It's part of the warranty. It's not an extra fee. We don't have to buy it. Then they give us a spare one to keep on
Does the
that.
data from the camera go to them or come to?
We own it, but they have access to it. But this is the kind of standard. It comes to us. It's all cloud
Be
based.
hosted somewhere in the cloud?
Well, yeah, it's all gonna be cloud based, and versus each device will have a LTE, like basically a cell phone to it to upload it. So we talked about this today. When we're on East River, it'll just wait until it finds it's wherever they go, pull behind the station. That'll alleviate our servers. Right now, when you go behind the station, you'll see these antennas on the roof. We download it directly from the car, so they got to run for a little bit behind the building so they can upload it into the system. And we actually store everything on our hard drives for a certain period of time. This alleviates all the data storage. This data storage is unlimited with this current one. The second option they gave us, which ended up being the cheapest option, but we have to buy all the extra storage and all the extra items. They call it a la carte. So as one goes down, you pay for it. So the difference between the two, the lowest and Axon, is about $21,000. That's $21,000 spread out over 5 years, not per year. So it's kind of for us, we view it as the right decision. Did I go too in deep depth on that?
I wanted to,
Yeah. So
covered what I wanted.
Eric, you have any questions?
No, I mean, I got to see a lot of the data beforehand with the email, so thanks for getting that sent out.
I knew this was a new thing we're trying to push forward and not overwhelm on that. So that's why we sent that email out.
Joey?
No, I trust them doing their homework on this. They've looked at it. They know what they want. When we originally got them, just like the LPR system, it took me a couple months, and it's just what they do. And I trust whatever they want to put in now.
The vendor that you went with, or you've had for many years, they were also one of the vendors that put in for the RFP. They're the highest. They're the 260.
I can believe that.
But at the time, I mean, it's been a great system. It's
Well,
just time to
There was only actually two vendors when I put the LPR in, but that, you know, and I don't think I was they were the low bid, but they gave the best with it, just like what you're getting.
Right.
You know, when you look at the totality of the package, I trust what you guys need and what you want. You know what to look for. We're good.
So you have no problem supporting it at the
No,
township board?
Yeah, I'll do the action item. And it's not a budgeted item, and it doesn't come from our budget, which is great, and that's even better.
We got that 34,000 federal grant for that too. So as you can
Right.
see, we've been talking a lot about grants with you gentlemen that we are actively seeking, and Lieutenant Collins has been pretty good at tackling getting grants. We're gonna talk about another one here at the department update. So,
I mentioned that at the board meeting.
so
So you're as good as Ken at getting into grants, Kevin?
I'm working on it. He was quite proficient at it, but I'm trying.
Can I have a motion then to recommend that the chief go forward to the township board for approval for this RFP?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Jeff? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
thank you, gentlemen. Catch up here real quick.
Okay. Any specific update discussion items, or do we move to the department reports?
Actually, I do have for department updates. If you gotta, if we haven't had two meetings, I wanted to give you guys an update. I'm sorry for not going in front of the camera. I'm trying to type and do the minutes also while we're doing this, so I apologize. Real quick for the dispatch, our dispatcher, Joe Catania, it started October 30th. He's in his third stage of the CTO, Communication Training Officer Program, so he's doing pretty good, and he should be off in early January is when he should be done, so that'll fulfill bring our dispatch to the full staff. The police officer hiring, you guys did the interview. We did the second round of interviews, so he's still in the background process. We're hoping to maybe get this completed by the psych and medical by January, after the Christmas. And I know the detectives still have to go through his current employer's personnel file. Like I said earlier, we applied for that one grant for the community-oriented policing services grant for $34,000 to go towards technologies. Also, Lieutenant Counts got us another COPS grant for $132,789, and that's for the accreditation process to update the evidence room and records room, and to become up to accreditation standards, and then any of the minor technologies that go along with it. So that was a pretty successful grant for us. So we're just learning the whole federal grant process right now. We have the money, we just have to figure out how to get the process going. We'll have a vendor set up for that later on. Any question on the grants? Any of that stuff? The LPR system I brought up earlier 2 board meetings ago that they had approved for us to update the LPR system. Our prior vendor was the only one downriver, that we were the only community downriver when the prior administrations installed that. We were the first ones. So now a lot of downriver has gone to Flock, and their actually numbers came out to be a little lower. So we moved it towards that, and then we didn't notice at the time, but they have an agreement with Axon, which is kind of beneficial, win-win. And then and the Girls Hill Safe Key, which I have up on the screen right now, it's letting you guys know that. Do you remember the presentation I think Sue or myself did this summer on the Girls Hill Safe Key? So she was at 200 households at the time, and now we're at 318. So it's moving. It's a great thing when how it does it for residents can provide information on medical conditions, key codes, and emergency contacts. That's for our dispatch to help them get greater services. So, any questions on the department update?
It's easy to sign up too.
Very easy to sign up on the.
I mean, it's very simple. It only took me, and it's me.
It's designed to be simple. It's not. We're not selling this to Facebook. This is just a hometown website that's encrypted. GrosdaleSafeKey.com. That's it. That's all I have for the department update. Any questions?
No, sir, thank you.
hold on one second, let me get caught up here. All right, go ahead.
Okay, the monthly report, I know that we're 2 months behind, but looking over the numbers, we're very happy, everything's staying consistent. All the officers are doing a very, very good job on the road. Calls for service, traffic stops, security notices. Were there any questions that you had about those numbers for the last 2 months, for October and
Just
November?
always amazes me how much they go down and when
On the
summer's
hot-
over.
Yeah.
Right, I mean, we're like 1,000, 1,100 a month, mostly all summer long, and we're, 650, 640 here.
Historically, you see the, it doesn't, if you looked at a chart or a graph, you would see the numbers drop down the same time every single year. But with the reserve report, I just want to give a little credit to Sergeant Vasquez. He did a little campaign for the reserve program to get new reserves. So he had put a banner posting on Facebook, social media, and with that, he was able to get 5 new candidates. Unfortunately, we're down to 4 because one had to drop out, and did a really, really good job with that. And the 4 individuals are now in the process of background with the Detective Bureau. I also wanted to mention Detective Darsniak. He was very instrumental in coordinating. We were talking about the LPR, the license plate recognition. He set all that up, from the electrician to working with Flock and getting the new cameras installed. So I just wanted to give him, some kudos and credit for that, because it's not easy. He did a very, very good job coordinating that. And that is pretty much it for the monthly report, unless anybody had any other questions.
No, I think the notable thing to me on the totals here is that we're through the month of November here, with the statistics, and there's been only two car deer accidents
That is correct.
through November. November is with the rut, that's usually the heavy month, so it's,
That means our deer
It's
population
working.
is
The call's
still
working.
way down. So
Yep,
the call
that's
is
right.
working, correct.
And we're still planning an ongoing
Yes.
program.
February, that's where we're looking. They have, once again, Detective Darsniak is contacting DNR, and they're trying to get the permits lined up. They do every year, permits lined up and try to get a window for dates. So,
Any word on when they're going to open up the Lowry Meridian Bridge?
no idea. Just being blunt, sorry, we don't know. So,
Any comments from the road guys on how much easier or nicer it is with less bumpy roads?
yeah, the cars are actually not taking a beating either. I mean,
Figured we'd
there's
pick up
definitely an
something.
improvement.
Yeah, the cars aren't going in for as many repairs, especially the Chargers. The Chargers, they were always going in for front ends.
Where to you, Joey? Anything on liaison?
Just a couple things, what you were asking about, the Meridian Bridge. We voted, Monday we had an emergency meeting to vote to have that repair done. As you guys probably know, that the main water line was hit. And I'm not sure how long that's going to be, but this bridge was supposed to be done in December. And we're looking into what is the situation. I don't have that answer for you. I apologize. I mean, I just don't have it. But Derek was looking into that. It was supposed to be December 1st, but it was supposed to be months previous. Now, what I didn't get was the end date or the finish or completion date predicated upon getting the line fixed. Can they fix the line if the bridge is straight through? Because where the line was hit was in the path of the bridge. So we'll have to see. So hopefully it's all going to come around. And I mean, and I know I apologize to the people. It's very, I hate to use the word annoying, but after a while it gets annoying that every place is a detour. And then you leave the island and there's barrels everywhere. I get it, but what's that saying? When you progress, you're going to have some short-term delays for long-term benefits, but it's easier said than done. I mean, for real, it is.
Does the
Especially
town,
having two bridges out at once.
I mean, it's just
Park Lane Bridge out, Thoroughfare Bridge out.
Yeah, I mean, it gets to be, and then you drive sometimes by nature and you're going towards the detour all the time thinking, I did it again, and then you got to turn around and go back. And so hopefully Meridian Bridge will get done, the line will get done, there won't be any other closures there. We'll get them both done, hopefully soon. I'll have an answer for you, and the reason I'm bringing that up because you asked that right
Well-
now. No, nothing else.
the other side of that, though, is actually, I think it's gone rather smoothly without being able to go that way all the time, but I'm sure it will be nice.
When you live on the north side of that,
Yeah.
like I do,
Well, all my
It's
kids
not
and
the
my brother
smoothest,
live,
but-
all my kids and my brother live on the
Yeah.
north side.
yeah, I mean, it is what it is, and I just apologize, and I
I'm
mean,
just
we
glad
all
East
have to
River's smooth.
get through this together. It's just like, you want the roads fixed, I get it, put a millage out there, the people vote for the millage, that's what it's about. I mean, and now, every time they're putting a new road in, there is some issues, obviously. I mean, that's, because you gotta put the road down, so you can't drive on the road, but after a while, I mean, it's continuous, and it seems not just Grosse Ile, but when you drive on I-75, trying to get up north.
I-275.
275 is, I mean, it just is all over. And it just, after a while, it's,
How about the Park Lane Bridge? Is that even on the list
yeah,
of priorities?
yeah. How about this? Yes and no. It's on the list, but is it a priority? Absolutely not. Because if it was a priority, the county would have made it a priority a few years ago. So that is the deal with the county, and that's just how
Not
they,
scheduled yet, then.
that's how they operate. And, I mean, there's some people on the board that are happy with the county. I'm very disappointed with the county. That's all I can tell you. And I've been trying to get things through for this bridge. We've been trying to get other things they just announced. And, Mr. Budney was just being the messenger. He wasn't, had anything to do with this. But, Mr. Kandrevis does not want to have a public meeting now with Grosse Ile for the bridge. And, maybe the police department has many questions. And I know the schools have many questions with this multi-million-dollar project they got coming up, because they actually had to change their logistics, because they're trying to get the things on Grosse Ile now, because when the bridge goes down in a year or so, they're not going to be able to bring the stuff over. It's a long story, but anyway, they're trying to logistic-wise get everything set on maybe getting some things here now for this project, because it's huge what the school's doing. But apparently the head of the DPS of Wayne County doesn't feel there's any need to come out, doesn't need to tell us any more than he's already done. Well, it's not about telling, it's about questions. Maybe Doug and Todd and Kevin have questions about that bridge and about issues that we have when it closes. There's emergency issues that come up. Again, there's school and building issues that the school's going to have. So I'm going to, after the first of the year, I've given them some time. There's that 24 or 48-hour rule, because I sent them some very professional emails. And so I thought I'd wait, and I'm going to ask them again. I think it would be a goodwill gesture to come out and let these gentlemen and us and anybody else that wants to come to a public meeting to have this and ask these questions. And the gentleman here, I'm sure, would agree with me. I do not know what he's thinking. That's all there is to it. So,
Is there a tentative date for doing the Free Bridge?
yeah, the Free Bridge is supposed to go 25, but I say beginning of 26. Believe it or not, it's that far out. They're
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it is that far out, but they said they're going to be doing the let's just call it paperwork and getting everything together in the end of 25, and I can't see them starting until maybe March of
Well,
26.
because in the past, there were some delays getting permits and stuff,
That-
which was,
Yes,
how come it wasn't done?
that's the issue. So hopefully the school will get started, but they're going to be possibly right in the middle. It's going to take a few years for the school to finish theirs. And I think that the people of Grosse Ile has questions. I think they would be, there's a thing called anxiety levels. And if they just would come out here and listen to what we have to say and ask and provide those answers to the people, it might make them feel better, and it might not create such anxiety in them and everything else, because there's people that have to leave the island, there's people that have to, come to the island to work. There's our emergency, and I keep saying police, but it's fire too. The fire has to adjust. Everybody has to adjust their life, yet they don't want to come out and answer questions. I have a problem with that. I mean, and I'm trying to be polite, I'm trying to be professional, but my patience is running out with them because it's continuous. And that's just where I stand. But anyway, I wanted just to fill you in. I know I went a little further than
That's
probably
fine.
what you wanted to hear, but since you asked that question, I wanted to.
Can't hurt.
Well, yeah, that's it. So anyway, that's it from the township that's applicable to the police department.
Anyone have any questions for Joey? Okay. Public comment. You gentlemen have anything?
Just here to watch and learn.
I pre-typed their names.
Watch the show live.
Okie dokie dokie.
That's fine.
Can I have a motion to approve the monthly report?
Motion to approve.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
So, does anyone have anything else they want to discuss tonight, or can we entertain a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second, if you like.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.